It's the Retro Philosophy Show. Go on and tell everybody you know. Yo, what's up, everybody? It's your girl, Lottie Dottie, and I'm in the building hanging out with Retro. Keep it locked, and don't you dare touch that dial.
When the sky cry pours down pleasures and pain, life deals us so many different hands in this game. But I beg you to please play your cards the best way you can.
It's our time to shine. I ain't lying. I gotta get it like I gotta. From the top all the way down to the bottom. I ain't lying, I'm just telling you the truth of it. It's our time to shine. We committed, man. It's our time to shine. If they ask me, then this what I'm replying. I ain't lying. I gotta get it like I gotta. From the top all the way down to the bottom. I ain't lying.
And you already know what it is. It's your homegirl, Lottie Dottie. I'm in the building hanging out with Retro, and he ain't never lying.
If you know the Lord is keeping you, what are you worrying about? God good, God good, God good, God good. Put up your hand from your know God good. Or him or the man, me I tell you God good. Me now watch them plan, me I tell you God good. Plane lift up on a land, me know say God good. Say God good, God good, God good. Some man a talk about say that them money good, and some woman a talk say that them body good. But if you're not talk about God, that no good. If a money you a worship, that no good. Every time you wake up, remember God good. Food in your plate, just remember God good. You no get no.
Had it not been for the Lord on our side, folks, do you ever stop and wonder where you might be? I mean, have you ever? Okay, all right. I do from time to time. Ooh, what is that, huh? Well, okay. Let's see if we can do this real quick. Bada boom, and then a bada bang. All right, I tell you what, we're gonna do this, folks. Keep it locked and don't you dare touch that dial.
So you're a philosopher? Yes, yes, yes.
Good evening, good morning, good night, good day. It's your boy Retro. Thank you for pressing play.
Come on, somebody lift up a shout to the Lord.
So you're a philosopher? Yes, 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 yes. I think very deeply.
I need just a little more Jesus.
Sheldon, start up the mic then. We start up the mic them now. Sheldon, start up the mic then. We are gonna crank up the mic them now.
Bear with me. This is the day that the Lord has made, and I shall rejoice discovering your ride. Ooh, let's get that out the way. Let's see. Bada boom, bada bang. Oh, hold on. Watch out there now. See, yeah, okay, yeah, few little mishaps and everything going on, but it's all good because it's the name of the game, and we've learned to work with it, right? All right, good morning, C1s in the building, ladies and gentlemen. Let's make some noise for the Retro Philosophy Show on today. Let me see if I can do this real quick. Look, man, if you guys want to tune in, please feel free to do so. The number is now scrolling at the bottom of your happy little screen right there. Bada boom, bada bang. Including Lottie Dottie is the NC Four Corners. Yes, sir. Let's make some noise right there. Yeah, yeah, yeah. The NC Four Corners. So we're gonna do it. We're actually the Kingdom Alive take off Friday morning to do the ride, and we've made it public now. So the patch that you see on the screen is the is the patch you can get should you decide to make this ride. Okay, it's going to be a beautiful ride. It's going to be a beautiful ride, man, and we're looking forward to it. Unfortunately, they are calling for a little bit of rain on Friday. It moved to Friday. Initially, it was going to be on Saturday, and it moved to Friday. So anyway, I wanted to talk a little bit about this ride. I have had some interest. We've had some phone calls and some emails, and we're excited about the excitement. We're excited about the interest. This ride is open to everybody. It doesn't matter if you're patched in a club or not. It doesn't matter. But the graphic that you see on the screen is the patch that you will receive if you want to. Now you can put it on your cut. You can put it in your photo album. You can your scrapbook. You can do what you want with it. You can do what you want with it. It's yours. You earned it once you complete this ride. The Four Corners, and there will be other states that we're going to be doing as well. We'll roll that out here in the very near future. We have been in talks already about one of the other states that we'll be doing real soon. So we'll roll that out later. But anyway, for the Four Corners of North Carolina, what we will do is we will be leaving from the Charlotte area, heading to Wilmington, North Carolina. Okay. And then from Wilmington, North Carolina, we will head up to the Outer Banks, ending in Kitty Hawk. And then from there, we will go to Sparta, North Carolina, and then from Sparta on down to Murphy, North Carolina, and then back home, thus concluding the Four Corners of North Carolina. Okay. Now, if you desire to do it, good morning to Willing It. He's in the building. Thank you, sir, for pressing play with us at the time that we do it. But when you do it, you must contact us prior to the ride. Share with us your glimpse, your Life 60, your Spotwalla, whatever tracking device you use. We'd like you to share that with us. If you say, well, Retro, I'm not up on all that technology, then that's cool. We can still make it happen. There's just some other things that you'll have to do, which is not strenuous or ridiculous. Well, I'll just tell you what it is. You'd have to take pictures and all four corners, Wilmington, Kitty Hawk, Sparta, as well as Murphy, and those pictures have to include something indicating that you are in that town, city, or what have you. Okay. And again, we are taking 2 days to do it. We're going to bed down in Rocky Mount, North Carolina, get us some good eating, then get up in the morning and carry on from there. It is just over 1,300 miles. So for those of you out there who are diehard iron butters, then you can make it an iron butt, and just knock it out, in less than 24 hours. It is doable. It is doable. So you do not have to be a resident of North Carolina. It doesn't matter. If you're going to come from California to do the Four Corners of little old North Cackalack, then by all means, come on through, holla at your boy, and either myself or one of the team members of Kingdom Alignment Motorcycle Ministry will meet you in one of those four corners, and we will present you with your patch. Okay. So if you need any more information in detail, feel free to reach out to me or any team member of the KM fam. You can reach us at kingdomalignment.mm@gmail.com. You can reach us at the number scrolling at the bottom of your screen, text or call 980-222-4492. And of course, if you have my cell number, you can reach me on the celly. Okay. Now, let's talk about finding your ride. Okay. We changed up the plans for this particular ride. We were going to go in reverse. We were going to hit Murphy, then we were going to hit Sparta, then Kitty Hawk, then Wilmington, then come home. But because of the rain that they are predicting, as I often say, I often say, the weather does not dictate whether or not we ride, but the gear we wear when we ride. Okay, you'll get that later. And so, but one thing that we must take in consideration, there's a few things we should take into consideration. Number one, safety first and first safety. Okay. Again, ladies and gentlemen, if you are watching from Facebook from my page, I still haven't figured out what the deal is with the comments not coming through. So my apologies. I'm not that guy who likes to, I like to acknowledge you when you come in the room and all that good stuff. So let's see here. Sellers Davis is in the building. Prince, what's going on, man? He says, I'm sleepy, trying to ask boss, can I leave early? Hey, I hear you, man. I was extremely tired today as well as this morning. Was able to sleep in somewhat. But yeah, I was tired. But we take off bright and early come tomorrow morning. Matter of fact, kickstands up at 5:30 a.m. We will be leaving from the QT down in Charlotte. If you are looking, and we do have some brothers who are going to be joining us for this ride come Friday morning, tomorrow morning. And because of their schedules, they can't complete the whole four corners, but they want to just ride with us. And we think a lot of them, and they think a lot of us. So they're going to ride with us from here to Wilmington. We'll break bread, have breakfast, and then they'll return home to handle the business that they must handle on Saturday. And so we're grateful for them. Now, if you are going to do this ride and you want to get the patch, it must be completed on one trip. And what that means is it doesn't have to be the same day. As I said, we're taking 2 days. And quite frankly, I would suggest you take at least 2 days. I wouldn't really suggest that you do it in one day. But if that's your fancy, again, we're talking today about finding your ride, discovering your ride. So if that's what you want to do, then that's what you do. I just say safety first and first safety. Be safe, no matter what or how you do it. Okay. Um, so we'll break bread, like I said, for breakfast. Be meeting with my uncle on tomorrow as well for breakfast up in Wilmington. Big dog in the building. Make some noise, ladies and gentlemen. Looking forward to seeing my uncle, man. I love him dearly, man. He means a lot to me. He's always been an inspiration and he's always been an icon in my life. Coming up as a young kid, man, I just always looked up to my uncle. And so it's going to be fun to sit down and hear some of his biker stories and stuff like that on tomorrow morning. So if you are in the North Carolina area and you wanted to make that first leg with us, you are welcome to do so. We welcome you, and that's cool. But again, to obtain this patch right here, you've got to do the trip in one trip. Which means you can't go do Wilmington, go home, chill. Then next week pick up and go do Kitty Hawk, and you got to do them one consecutive run, if you will. So again, let's get back to finding your ride. Now we changed the direction, and the reason being, I'd rather get rained on going to Wilmington because we're taking 74 up into Wilmington, and then once we hit Kitty Hawk, we'll hit 40. We'll eventually get on 40, making our way to Sparta. So if I'm going to get rained on, I would prefer getting rained on the highway, if that makes sense. Once we hit Sparta, North Carolina, we're gonna be on all back roads headed down to Murphy, and there's not a whole lot down in that area, but there is some good riding. There's a lot of curvy roads that we'll ride and stuff like that. So I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be a great trip and a great ride with great people. And whenever you are riding with a group, especially if you're planning. I'll speak for me. I can't speak for everybody, and nor do I claim to be anybody's professional. I'm not claiming to be any of that. But what I have discovered and learned is that when you are leading a group, come on, somebody, then you are in many regards responsible for that group. Okay, and my guys are pretty good riders. But still, I want them to be as comfortable as possible as we're riding. And so, coming down those curvy roads, man, I didn't want it to be raining on us because, trust me, that's going to be some good riding right there. So when discovering your ride, you cannot. I remember my first time going to the Tail of the Dragon. My wife and I, we rode up there with another couple, and one of the things that they said repeatedly was "Ride your ride." I believe they had already done it before, and it was our first time. Not only was it my first time on it, riding it, but I had not too long put some big old bars on my bike. In retrospect, I probably would have waited till after, but it is what it is. So I'm still getting comfortable with the new position on my motorcycle, as well as riding a pretty intense ride. I don't know about you, but the Tail of the Dragon is nothing to sneeze at. It's nothing to shake a stick at. It's some serious riding. You gotta focus. You gotta know what you're doing. And you certainly have to be careful. In addition to that, you got people who are zooming by you like it's a racetrack. I remember, I think it was the first time we went up there. There was a guy who came by us, man. I mean, when I tell you he blew by us, he blew by us. He was on a road glide, older road glide, no backrest, no tour pack, had his chick on the back, and she was holding on for dear life. And when I tell you that dude was getting it, man, I don't know how he, I don't know how she let him do it, because that was just, it was insane, to be honest with you. And so anyway, what they continue to say, hey, look, ride your ride, and we'll be at the top when you get there. So in other words, if you fall back, if you fall behind, don't rush to catch up. Just stay safe first and foremost. Now, for me, when I'm riding with a group, and I notice somebody is falling back, I try to keep an eye on that. And then I will slow my speeds. Now, for me, I'm a part of the 50-90 club. Okay, the 50-90 club is 50% of the time or more I'm hitting 90 miles an hour. It is what it is. My bike don't ride good, at 70 miles an hour. It feel like it's falling apart. She got to be hitting 90 to be riding right. So, but when I'm riding with a group, I've got to take them into consideration as well, because if I'm leading that group and I plan that ride and I'm out there riding my ride, but it's above their ride, and somebody gets hurt, guess who's going to feel bad? Yeah, this guy right here. And I don't want anybody's I don't want that on my hands. You know what I'm saying? So we've got to be responsible. Now, for this particular ride, when we hit that 40, it is what it is. My cruising speed, and I've already told the team this, it's going to be 80 miles an hour. Now let's talk about that for a minute. If I'm riding with, let's just say, me, my VP, and my road captain, the three of us, we kind of know what we getting ready to do. We ride really well together. We understand each other's ride, and so it ain't no problem. But if I'm riding with more than just my VP and my road captain, I have to take other things into consideration. You know what I mean? And but here's the deal. What I normally like to do, and you guys, please, by all means, chime in, school me if you will. You know what I'm saying? Share with me some of your tips or some of your insights, some of your experiences. But if I've got, more than that, and we're on our way somewhere, we got to take the interstate. I like to hit that left lane. Some call it the hammer lane, some call it the passing lane, some call it the business lane. Many names for it. But normally I'll hit that left lane, and I'm gone. Now, one of the reasons why I like to keep it at 80 is at least because that's not even fast, to be honest with you. You can be on the interstate pushing 80 miles an hour, and I promise you there'll be a Nissan behind you pushing you, wanting to go 105, Um, but if you're in the left lane, number one, if you're in the middle lane, right, at some point you're going to run up on somebody that's going slower than you want to go, and you're going to need to get around, right? So now you got 7, 8, 9 bikes that you've got to maneuver around this slow car. Okay. So there's that component. So if you're in the left lane, you just keep it going. Now, I don't like to get in the left lane and snail, because, like I said, somebody's coming up behind you. They want to go fast. They're late for their business meeting. They're trying to get their lickety split. And what happens is a lot of times they'll get over into the middle lane. They'll zoom up, and as soon as they can find an opening, they're gonna possibly get inside the group, right? And you already know how that goes, right? Or they're zooming up trying to get in front of the lead rider, and it's just so. For me, I tell my team, look, we're gonna hit this left lane and we're gonna let it rip. We're gonna, we're gonna be safe. I'm not talking about doing 100. Um, there are some folk that hit that left lane and they will do 100. I ain't gonna say no names, but Pablo Frescobar. But anyway, I was invited on a ride with a group of brothers, And when they pulled up at the meet spot, everybody pulls up on these road glides. They fly as can be, and every last one of them sound like they had some major motor work. Here I am sitting on Ruby Red, just stock. She ain't got nothing but some slip-ons. You know what I mean? And I said, "Good Lord!" So we take off now, and Czar, he, older dude, out of Jacksonville, he hit that throttle and his front wheel about lift up every single time. We on the interstate doing about 80, and he just I was like, man. So when we hit the interstate, when we initially hit the interstate, matter of fact, we stopped at the gas and we fueled up before we hit the interstate, and I just said, I'm about to blow my motor messing around with these jokers today. I said, oh my goodness, man. But it was a great ride, man. The brothers, they showed me mad love. And Ruby, she held it down. She did her own, man, So shout out to all my folks down there, and Fort Lauderdale? Anyway, Pablo Frescobar and his team down there. Like I said, they treated your boy like family and showed me mad love. um, but it was good because, like I said, we hit that left lane and we make it do what it do, man. We just, yeah. In my opinion, it's safer than getting in that left lane. And well, the speed limit is 70, so I'm gonna do 70. If they want to go any faster, they can go around. That's dangerous, man. Folks is in a hurry. You get in the hammer lane, hammer it, or get out of it. But again, when you've got multiple bikes, it's easier to hit that left lane and just keep going. Just keep going. That way, you're not zooming in and out of traffic and things of that nature. And when you're riding with a group, make sure you, number one, are confident in your skill set, and but have some kind of idea, what kind of riding they're going to do. Normally, before taking off, I'll give some kind of brief explanation as to what we're going to do, how we're going to do it, and why we're going to do it. That way, everybody has an understanding. And if they have any problems or issues, they can make it known at that time, because it's easier to regroup before you hit the road than to be on the road trying to hand signals and talk to somebody and this, that, and the other. So let's just get a quick understanding before, these kickstands go up. So we'll know what's going on. You know what I mean? And then let me say this, the last thing I learned this a long time ago on my sport bike days, don't get out there trying to show off. Because if you get out there and try and show up every single time, I promise you that bike gonna short on you. Something you just don't do it. Just don't do it. So I like to enjoy my ride. I am I like to twist the throttle. I do. I ride fast, but not dangerous. But there comes a time when you got to do what you got to do, and you have to maneuver. So normally when we ride stagger for the most part, unless we're on some back roads and the roads are fairly narrow. It's safer at that point, in my opinion, or I should say that's the way we do it. We just, we throw up that single file and we just go through. Especially if it's a curvy road, you might need a little extra space to correct your curve or whatever curve come up on you fast. So for those reasons, you normally, when we're on them back roads, near roads, we'll just go single file. But normally when we're on a wider road, interstate, of course, we'll do staggered. Not too often for Kingdom Alignment do we ride handlebar to handlebar. There is the occasion, but it's not something that we do for the most part on a regular basis. What is your ride? Okay, so the NC Four Corners. Okay, now we'll leave the Charlotte area, as I said earlier. We'll head to Wilmington, right? And we'll take 74 for the most part, which is it's not really interstate. Once we leave Kitty Hawk, we'll hit some interstates, Interstate 40, and then we'll hit some back roads. So it's this particular ride, you're gonna get pretty much all of it. You know what I'm saying? You'll get back roads, you get interstate, you get byways. And so a ride like this, you can get a chance to see which part of it you like best. There are some people who prefer, for them, we ask them, what's a great ride? Matter of fact, what is a great ride in your opinion? Put it in the comment section or hit the line 980-222-4492. And you tell me, share with the listening audience, what, in your humble opinion, is a great ride? Okay. Now you ask 5 people that question and you'll get 5 different answers. You might even get 7 different answers. I'm just saying, anyway. But so some people, you ask them what is a great ride. Andre Daniels, what's going on, man? See, I don't know why the Facebook is not allowing the comments to come through because I'm noticing that a few guys are commenting here on Facebook. So if you could do me a favor, I don't want to inconvenience you, but if you could, just switch over to YouTube. Just going over to YouTube real quick, pull up your YouTube app and press play there. Um, Let me see if I can share. Let me see if I can get jiggy with it without losing my train of thought, which is not hard for me to do. Okay, I got that right there. Bada boom, bada bang. Maybe if I do this, y'all bear with me now. Just bear with me, please. Okay, got it. Bada boom, bada bang, boof, and voila. So if you're watching on Facebook, all you have to do is just go to my page and click the link I just shared the YouTube video live, and then that way we can, acknowledge your comments, so on and so forth. Okay. Sorry for the inconvenience, but it is what it is. I haven't figured out why it's doing that yet. Andre Daniel says, "Good morning. Good morning to you, sir. Thank you for pressing play and watching on this morning." And again, we invite all of you guys at some point or another to take this ride, especially if you're in North. Matter of fact, if you are a biker in North Carolina, this is a ride for you. You've got to take this ride, okay? If you're in another state and you say, "Ooh, holla at me. We can put it together for your state too." We got other states on the list that we're going to be doing here in the very near future. Okay, so back to your ride, okay? Um, some will say, the best ride retro is a back road ride. And I can enjoy some back road riding. A lot of times, I'll get on my bike, man, and I'll take the long way home. Sometimes I'll come down 77. I'm in Statesville off of 77. So I'll come down 77, and then there's this exit that I usually get off on. It's got some little curves and stuff like that. And man, I love it, man. I love it. I'll hit that thing, and I've hit it so much, man. I can almost hit it with my eyes closed. And it's really curvy coming through the golf course and everything. But I'm in there, man. I can go through there about doing 80 and just hit every single curve. So let's see here. C1 says comfortable riding weather with perfect road conditions, beautiful scenery. Now that's it right there, brother. That's it right there. Here we are. We're switching. Seasons are changing now. We're getting ready for winter, and I believe that this is going to be a pretty intense winter. I think we've gotten away for the past 2-3 years with very mild winters, and I'm afraid that this is going to be a pretty intense winter. But I am literally acclimating because I was just so comfortable with the warm weather, and I'm a cold weather rider. I do a lot of riding in the winter seasons. Here we are in October, and I say I probably still got at least another 4 or 5 thousand miles, probably before the year is over. Let me see. Yeah, I'd say I got at least about another 3 or 4 thousand miles to knock down before January 1. Okay. Speaking of January 1, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to keep your ears peeled for the Genesis ride. That's the annual ride we do every January 1. So we'll be sharing more information about that here in the very near future. Flyer and all to come. Okay. But yeah, so the back roads, right? And so for a lot of people, it's enjoyable. You usually don't have a lot of traffic on the back roads. With the back roads, depending on what your area is, the only thing you have to worry about, well, there's a few things you have to worry about. What are some of the things you worry? Those of you who like back road riding, what are some of the things that, even though you're enjoying the ride, in the back of your mind, you're trying to be aware of, you're trying to be, conscious of? Okay. I want you to share that with me in the comment section. Okay. We're going to help each other today. This is an education show. So for me, I get to Moxville about 2 times a week on some business up there, and I always ride my bike, right? And I discovered another route to get to my location, right? And I always wonder where that road led to. So this particular day, I was leaving, and I said, I'm gonna hit it today. I had a little time. I wasn't rushing to get to my next location or anything. So I said, you know what? We're gonna find out where it goes today. Side note. That's how you can find some really good riding sometimes, just being curious as to where this road leads. Get up one day, one morning when you got some time, and you don't have to go ride any, far distance. You can take a route that you ride on a regular basis, but roads you never turn down, and just say, you know what, today we're gonna hit that road. And so that's what I did this particular day. I've been saying I was gonna do it, and as I said, that particular day I had time. So boom, I swing a right and I just ride it out, you know. And I even found a nice mural that I'm going to stop and get here in my next visit up there. I'll probably grab it. Matter of fact, I got to get up there today. Today's Thursday, but I doubt if I'll be able to grab it today. But anyway, I turn down the road, and it's just more back roads, winding, sweeping curves, just absolutely beautiful. It's one of those roads where at first it can be challenging, but once you kind of learn it, it'll be a great road for practicing. And so, man, I'll hit that thing, man. And yeah, my goal is for my tires to wear out evenly. Y'all might have missed that, but I'm that guy that likes to lean into my curves as much as I can when I can, because I'm trying to eat up the whole tire, not just the middle strip of it, the whole thing, you know. And so a lot of times when I got those kind of roads, I ride them frequently, you know. But some of the things I worry about on back roads, I was on the road that I'm talking about. I was on it and I was getting it, you know, because I've been down it now a few times. So now I can go down there. I'm still cautious and I'm still safe, but I can go a little faster because I'm aware of the road. I know exactly when it turns, when it's, you know, all that stuff, right? So I'm on it and I'm hitting it. Yeah, you already know, right? Where my noise at? There we go. Okay, grass clippings. Does it make you furious or does it make you mad when you know, I did landscaping for a few years, you know, and it was fun. I enjoyed doing that. But every time I had a yard that was on the corner or something like that, I would be extremely cautious and conscious not to throw grass clippings in the roads. And then if in the event you can't prevent it, you can't help it, get out there and blow them off the road because they can be extremely dangerous. You know, grass clippings, leaves, stuff like that can be dangerous for a biker coming through there, man, especially if he's in a curve or she's in a curve. Man, it can be dangerous, man. And so, but here's the deal. Here's the deal. And this is why you have to, I don't know, I guess the more you ride, the more you establish a means of being aware, being even proactive. Um, uh, it might sound funny, but don't laugh at me, okay? True story. I smelt it before I saw it. See, when you ride, and a lot of times, this particular day I was riding with a half helmet, which probably was why I was able to, you know, smell it so strong. Um, Junior, what's going on, man? I don't mind interstate riding, but I tried to ride back roads and enjoy God's creation, brother. Come on, man. Diosa, I think it is Junior Diosa. Man, that is the awesome part of it, man. You know, sometimes matter of fact, I was riding the other day. I was coming back from Durham and I was just in a I wasn't in a daze, but you know, because a lot of times when you're riding, for me, you just get wrapped up in God's, like you said, brother, God's creation. And I almost missed my exit. You know, I was on the interstate this particular day. But I agree with you 300% on that one, brother, man. And some of the dangers, some of the things we got to watch out on back roads, as Junior Diosa is stating: leaves, gravel, animals, grass clippings, and other distracted drivers. Um, Me and Change, we were riding. Matter of fact, we were riding. I think it was Wednesday or Tuesday. Was it? It was Tuesday. I think we were riding Tuesday. Yeah, it was Tuesday. We were riding, and it was nighttime, and and we weren't far from home at all. I wasn't far from home, and he's not too far from me. And this lady, she makes her turn, but she proceeds to come across the double yellow line. And I'm like, yo, I mean, do you not see me? Do you not hear me? And so you got to watch out for distracted drivers, man. But again, I had a half helmet on and I was able to smell the grass clippings before I saw them. And so as I'm smelling this aroma, this smell, this scent in the air, and I'm coming around the curve, when I saw the grass, I can't really explain it, but that smell that I was smelling just kind of like it had me kind of in a aware state of mind, if you will. And so that whole part right there, man. But yeah, we have to watch out for grass clippings. We have to watch out for gravel. Now, when we leave Kitty Hawk heading to Sparta, North Carolina. That's when from Sparta down to Murphy is all the back roads. We did it in reverse because I didn't want to ride those windy roads during the rain, as I was stating earlier. Now, the other concern that we have to be aware of, especially me, because I'll probably be up front, is washout or washover, whatever you call it. In other words, sometimes when it rains, depending on how bad it is, it will cause gravel to slide. My driveway, I have to have it redone, but every time it rains or something like that, the little broken up concrete, the little gravel and stuff, it just washes down onto the sidewalk, and so that's what you have to be careful of. So you're saying, well, it's a beautiful day, it's the sun is shining. Yeah, it is, and the ground is dry. Yes, it is. But that doesn't mean you can ride those curves carefree, because if it rained the night before, especially if it was a hard rain, chances are, especially up in the mountains and in the country, there can be some washout on the road. So be very careful and be aware. Another thing for me when I'm riding is I like to pay attention to brake lights. I tell the team, see, when we have our monthly meetings, we try to educate each other. We try to share experiences on the road and things like that. Let's see here. See if I can call them back in a little bit. So we try to share experience and things like that, and I tell the team all the time, when you're riding, do your best to try to have a visual not only on what's in front of the car in front of you, but the car in front of the car in front of you. Because if the person in front of you is not paying attention, but the person in front of them throws on brakes, if you're paying attention. That's why I don't like riding behind too many big trucks and big SUVs, especially the ones with the super dark tint windows, because I can't see through their rear view and through. So I'll try to get around them as soon as I can if necessary, because it saved me so many times. The person in front of me wasn't paying attention, but I saw what was going on in front of them before they did, and so that could be a lifesaver in many many ways. What are some things, ladies and gentlemen, that are watching with us on this morning? I think I still got a few guys with me. Let's see here. Yeah, we still got a few guys with me. What are some of the things that you watch out for when you're riding? Not just like gravel and animals and things like that, but things to stay safe, especially when riding with a group or with a pack. What are some of the things that you look out for? We'd like to know on today. Share with us, if you will, in the comment section. Ladies and gentlemen, saints and ain'ts, everybody, including my Lottie Dot. Let's make some noise for you for joining the Reckless Velocity Show on today. We appreciate you so much. We're just talking about discovering your ride, and you have to understand, sometimes it takes time. You might not get it overnight. Let's say you're new on your bike. Matter of fact, let's just say you're not new. Let's say you've been riding all your life, right? If you would, I want to know how long you've been riding your motorcycle. At what age did you start riding motorcycles? Share with us in the comment section. Because here's the thing, we're going to talk about this in a second. So you've been riding. You had my last sport bike was a Ninja 600, a ZX 600. Really cool little bike. It was pretty as can be. It had the candy paint, chromed all over. Beautiful bike. I mean, it really was. It was a 600. It wasn't no big bike, but that 600 would trust me. It would get the business done. It was very nimble. I can make it do what it do. I can control it. It was a great bike. It was a great bike. Until a lady in a RAV4 decided to use it as a parking space and back on top of it. So anyway, so you're on your ZX6, your ZX12, your Boost, or whatever it is, your crotch rocket, your Rice rocket, and you get a little older, and you say, you know what, I want something a little bit more comfortable. I want to start getting yonder, because when I was on sport bikes, I didn't get no long distance. I think the furthest I rode on a sport bike was from Massachusetts to New Haven. I think was the furthest I rode on a street bike, and that's not extremely far, but it is what it is. I didn't start getting yonder until I got my first Harley, and that's when I started riding long distance. So anyway, so now you're on a crotch. Excuse me. Now you're on a Harley or Victory or Indian or V Star or whatever your fancy is. You're on a cruiser now. It's a different ride than it is on the sport bike. So even though you've been knowing how to ride ever since you were knee high, you still have to get acclimated to this new style of riding, new position of riding, and so don't think because you was because you was the stuff on the on your crotch rocket, that you just going out the gate be like that on your big old cruiser that weighs possibly 300-400 pounds more. Okay, be easy, take it easy, and lean into it slowly and carefully, and just, I want to say, let it come natural. Whenever you force something, it ain't good. You can force it to fit, but it ain't good. I was working on the car yesterday, and I had to get a new part, new. As a matter of fact, it was a new gasket, right? A rubber. It was a rubber, not really gasket, but a rubber like O-ring, and it's a hard plastic piece. And so we're trying to get it to connect back, but because the new washer was thicker than the old one, only because the old one had over time softened up and flattened out. And so I tried to, in essence, force it in with a little pressure. And then when I put the clamp on it to keep it, it popped, it broke. Now I was able to force it and make it fit, but it wasn't a good fit. So anyway, I don't know why we threw that in there, but we did at no cost either, so you didn't have to pay for it. Let's see here. C1 said, I was 27 years old when I brought my first bike, 96 Yamaha FZR 600 sport bike. Look at you with your bad self. I got a picture somewhere here of my first bike. It was a, what was that thing? It was a, oh boy, I can't remember the name of that thing, man. It was a little sport bike, man. Couldn't tell me nothing, man. Couldn't tell me nothing. So shout out to C1's 27 years old, bought his first motorcycle, 96 Yamaha FZR 600. My boy DeWitt, he had I think it was a Nighthawk. I don't remember who made Nighthawk. Might have been Yamaha. I don't know. It was a Nighthawk. Man, I rode that bike, man, and it was fast as I don't know. It was an ugly bike, but it was fast, and I almost bought it from him too. I almost bought it from him. And the bike was fast as I don't know what. And it was after that I knew I had to get one. And shortly after that, that's when I ended up buying the bike my first bike. And, and pretty much been riding ever since. So anyway, what were we saying, folks? Okay, so you can't force it, all right? Take your time, get used to your bike. Shout out, and I'm going to use her for an example. I don't think she'd mind, but Tiffany Renee and so many others can fit into what I'm getting ready to say. But I'm mentioning her because I literally just watched her show a little earlier, one of her shows on YouTube. And she mentioned how it's paying off. What's paying off, you ask? I'm glad you asked. What she said was paying off was the practicing that she's been doing. She went down and check out your boy Robert Simmons down there in Pooler, Georgia. He's the one who has the Boss of Your Motorcycle or something like that, where he teaches slow maneuvering and things of that nature. So on one of her videos, and go check out her YouTube channel, Tiffany Renee, you can find her on YouTube. She's all over. And so on one of her videos, she was doing it, and she dropped her bike. She dropped her bike, but don't sweat it. She had the proper gear and, the little protectors and things like that. It's going to happen. And it was what I'm trying to say, but the point is, you've got to practice, folks. Find you an empty parking lot. I know you've been riding since you was, 17, 20, whatever the case is. You've been riding for 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 50 years and all this and that, right? But here's what I found out, folks, and you may or may not agree with me on this, right? We're just talking this morning, right? Okay. So what I found out is you've been riding for 25 years, but for 25 years, you've been riding with the same skill set. So within those 25 years, you really haven't excelled. You really haven't grew. You really haven't gotten better. You just been riding for a long time the same way. I'm going to take a sip of my cold coffee. Oh, I knew I shouldn't have did it. It done got cold on me. I didn't have it in my little thermal thing. It's still good, though. So you've been riding a long time the wrong way. Now, that's applicable to a lot of things. Our relationships, our business ventures, and, we've been at it for a long time, but we haven't taken the time since we've been at it to maximize, to improve, to grow it, to expand it, and so get you, if you can't afford the training courses, because I don't know your situation, shoot, money don't grow on trees, right? But you can go on YouTube. It's free. you can go on YouTube and you can look at some of these videos, and you can then go out to your favorite parking lot and just practice and practice and practice. You know why? Because practice makes perfect. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And so for me, I can get on my motorcycle, right? And I can make a right U-turn better than I can a left U-turn. I don't know if anybody else is in that same predicament, right? And so what do I have to do? I have to intentionally practice the other way around. Because I mean, it is what it is, man. Practice makes perfect, man. And so yeah, that whole part right there. And now, because I don't know if you guys heard it or not, but it is a true story. You looking at the 2023 slow roll champ. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hold on, let me get my theme music.
Let's go. Let's go.
Yo,
It's
man,
the
I'm the
retro
slow roll
philosophy.
champ. You hear
You
what I'm telling?
know?
And
You
so
know? Let's
there's
go.
a lot
Tell
of
them
people that's coming for that title. They said, hold on, wait, who he think he is? He can't hold on to. I'm coming. They said they coming for it, man. And now they done added a cash prize and a belt. Oh man, so they coming for it. So folk all over the place, no doubt, they're out there right now practicing their slow roll. But by all means, practice, because practice makes perfect, man. So you got to practice, and we as a team, Kingdom Alignment, man, that's one of the things we've been talking about as well. And so we've got some things that we are going to be strategically practicing. And the more you ride, you should. Um, I don't think evaluate is the word I want to use in this particular moment, but you should you should inspect. I guess we can use that, maybe, your ride. I do a lot of recording, especially when I'm taking specs out. My beautiful wife, she's a new rider. She's doing really good. She's doing better than she knows, to be honest with you. I think her biggest problem is she gets stuck in her own head. How many of you get stuck in your head? One of the easiest ways, or one of the best ways, to get out of your head as it relates to your riding ability, is to practice. She's got this one particular stretch that she is so afraid of, and every time she can be doing so good, and as soon as we approach that stretch, you see her little legs get to wobbling. You see the little bike is no longer going smooth. She start to get a little, and I'm like, good Lord. And we were riding the other day in the car, and we were coming down. She said, I'm going to tackle this stretch right here. If I'm going to tackle it. Those are my beautiful wife, man. She is such a sweetheart. She really is, man. But you can, and so I'll record a lot, and for her, it helps her because I can tell her. We went out and I was like, babe, you got to do this, you got to do that. And she's like, well, I am. In her mind, she was, but in actuality, she really wasn't. So when I presented the video to her and she's watching the video, she got quiet. She's like, oh, okay. Oh, now I see what you mean. What's going on, Tiff? Ladies and gentlemen, saints and ain'ts, everybody, including Lottie Dolly, make some noise for Tiffany Renee. Your ears must be burning because we were just talking about you. Of course, it was in a good sense. We wasn't running your name down and nothing like that. We put some respect on your name, girl. But we were talking about practicing, and the importance of it. And I was watching your video when you went down to the fall rally, which I wasn't too aware of. So I'm gonna have to put that on my list of events to check out down there at Myrtle Beach, Murrells Inlet, I believe it was. But you made mention, Tiffany. Yeah, she said she will get it, and she will get it the more she rides, for sure. Yeah, she will. She's a very determined person, man, and she's also very thorough, and she's hardest on herself than anybody. Um, but Tiffany said that it's paying off, and she tooted her horn, as we should from time to time. We should toot our horns, especially when when we're excelling and we're doing something good. She made a U-turn in the parking lot without putting her feet down. Come on, make some noise, folks. But it doesn't happen without practice. So back to my beautiful wife. Now, my wife is like, I'm going to tackle this stretch, and she will. Um, but I'm not sure what that was. I'm tempted to go check it out, but I don't want to leave y'all hanging, so I'm gonna act like I'm gonna ignore it. but it's making it hard for me. But y'all gonna have to excuse me. I got to go investigate real quick. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit you up with a quick commercial. All right, keep it locked and don't you dare touch that dial.
I call them my future leaders because that's what they are. When I let them know, don't forget about where you were raised, be proud of where you come from and give back. It seems more family in Riverview Gardens. It would just be wonderful to get some people to get some of those jobs and help us get these scholars where they need to be. There's a new view on the horizon where learning is required. We have a community that we have to take care of. We have kids that are depending on us. I call them my scholars, I call them my future leaders because that's what they are. When I let them know, don't forget about where you were raised, be proud of where you come from and give back. It seems more family in Riverview Gardens. It would just be wonderful to get some people to get some of those jobs and help us get these scholars where they need to be. There's a new view on the horizon where learning is required.
Yes, indeed.
We have a community that we have to take care of.
Folks,
We have kids that are depending on us. I call them my scholars, I call them my future leaders because that's what they are. When I let them know, don't forget about where you were raised.
This young lady, man, she's doing big things. She's touching hearts, and those kids, they love her, man, and we love her as well, man. Good people right there, man. Okay, so oh, hold on, wait a minute. Let's see here, Tiff. Let's see what's going on here. Hold on. Let me see. Bada boom, bada bang. Let's get this back up. Thank you. They are giving me a hard time with that fall. Why? I'm saying why would they do such a thing? That's crazy, man. You took it like a G, you know. You got right back up, you know, and and we all fall. Donnie McClurkin said we fall down, but we get up. Yeah, so I ain't afraid of nobody's fall. I'm afraid of their lack of willingness to get back up from the fall. You can fall 7 times. It don't matter, as long as you get back up 8 times. That whole part right there. Somebody missed that, but somebody got it. Okay. So you keep on doing your thing, Tiff. Don't worry about them folks, man. They fall too. They just wasn't caught on camera. You know what I'm saying? C1 says you're never gonna know until it happens. Says we all drop a bike at some point. I'm gonna tell y'all a story here in just a second. Yeah, we all drop it at once. So I don't know if you guys are familiar with well, I'm sure some of you are. Some of y'all even having the CVOs, right? Well, so with a CVO, right? You don't have to turn the knob like you do on a regular Harley. You know, the knob right there on your forks or whatever right there. So there is a software update that you can do, or you can actually go in and you can program to bypass that on your bike. So I've got a 19 Road Glide Special. It's not a CVO, it's just a regular Road Glide Special. So we hooked up the bike, we bypassed that thing there. That way, all I had to do was just hit my start button, hit my on button, and then hit the start button, and the bike would start. I wouldn't have to worry about the whole lock thing there, right? So it was cool, you know, it was fun. I was like, okay, yeah. So we did it, and we're rolling with it like that, right? True story. So we are on our way up to Massachusetts, right? We get to Massachusetts, you know, we enjoy family and everything. We collect some miles and smiles, check out some of our peeps on the way back coming through New York, New Jersey and everything. And so we stop off in Maryland now, right? And you know, we're making our way back home. We're making a few stops. And so we stop off in Maryland to go check my homie, right? And we're there at his spot, and you know, we're just, you know, talking and everything, and boom, time to go now, right? So we get back on the bike and get ready to make a U-turn. Now let me pause for a cause. Before we got to his house, I said, let me stop and fuel up. That way, after we get ready to leave, boom, we can just hit the interstate and get on home. We probably had about maybe 6 hours to go from there, right? So we're in Maryland now. We're in Maryland now. Okay. And so the wife had to use the restroom. I had to use the restroom. So guess what I did? I locked the bike. I just turned the thing and locked it, right? We go into the bathroom and do our thing, come back, fill up with gas, and we take off. We get to my man house. Now, mind you, when I left the gas station, I'm on the highway and I'm just hitting curves. I'm not making any sharp turns, right? When I locked it, I never turned the steering wheel. Okay, you might know where I'm going now. So we get to my man's house and we get ready to leave, and so I'm about to make a U-turn, and again, it was a left U-turn, which I said earlier, right? But I'm good. I'm better at my left U-turns and then my right U-turns. Okay, so I'm getting ready to make a tight U-turn in the middle of his street. I can do it. I've done it before. It's gonna look real good. I'm about to. So boom, I hit. Now, mind you, my wife is on the back, right? So I lock my wheel and I go into my U-turn and it's looking good. It's flawless. I'm executing this thing just flawless. Only to straighten it back up and it won't turn. It said click and I'm trying to straighten and it wouldn't straighten and we both went down. Me and the wife fell all out in those people's driveway and everything. I was like, OMG. Soon as I got back to the shop, I hooked that bike up to that machine and deleted that little bypass thingy, whatever it was, and said never again. Never again. It just yeah, it was, so we fell. Yeah, both of us. I scarred up my little saddlebag. Not real bad. You couldn't really see it too bad because it was underneath the bottom. But it happens, Tiffany, to us all. All of us have dropped that thing at some point or another. Somebody was telling me how they were on their bike and they got ready to get off and had forgot that they didn't put the kickstand down. Yeah, so yeah. Yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy. Wife didn't get hurt too bad. She was a little bruised a little bit, and but next day or so, it kind of worked out. So anyway, there's that. So we all fall at some point or another, but we just got to get back up. I crashed a Gixxer, Gixxer 750. I had not too long moved to Mooresville. I was living in Mooresville at the time. Me and my boy Rodell, we was riding. We had rode up to Kannapolis and was on our way back to Mooresville. We hit overhead bridge, which is literally just that. It's a bridge, and man, we were moving them bikes so fast, man. When we hit that bridge, man, we both caught air. We hang down there, got to the end of that street, and hit Mazeppa Road. And this was literally my first time on this road. Okay, and boom, we're flying down there. I looked down at my speedometer, and I saw it read 165 miles an hour. And I said, I better slow down. And so just as quick for me to just glance down at that speedometer and back at the road, there was a curve. And I said, OMG. And so I'm leaning that thing, trying to keep it from wiping out. And I said, if I lean any more, man, we're going to be laying on this ground and spinning on this pavement. And that's going to hurt. That's going to equate to some road rash. So I kind of, let it sit up, which took me off the road into the grass, and it went into a wicked fishtail, right? And as soon as the bike seemed like it was getting ready to, come out of the fishtail, which it did, but I had drifted too far over in the grass and ended up running down into the little gully. And I don't know what they call those big drains that go underneath the driveways. You see those a lot down here in the South. Well, that thing said, hello, see me, ya? And I said, OMG, and hit that thing. Next thing you know, man, I just blacked out. The next thing I remember was I got to call my wife. And my face, my nose, I think my nose was bleeding. My helmet was destroyed. And I didn't know until after that the person I was hanging up with was my wife. And I was saying, I got to call my wife. I don't even remember calling her. I don't remember any of it, man. It was a miracle that I got up from that accident without any major, issues other than a major concussion. The next thing I remember, I was in the ambulance and they were asking me all these questions. And then next, the door opens and in walks this beautiful young lady who proceeds to tell me that she was my wife. And I had no clue who she was. And it wasn't until later on that night that my memory started coming back to me. And for some people, and I know others have been in worse accidents than that, and some, have resulted in never riding again, But for me, I always heard the saying, you got to get back up. You got to get back up. So, I did. We got back up. We had the bike fixed and, ended up buying another one. I think it was the following season. And been riding ever since, and it was a wake-up call. It was a wake-up call in many regards, both natural and spiritually. We can talk about that for days, but for real, there was definitely a spiritual component to it. So it was an eye-opener, and yeah, it took me a while to even be able to go down that road without kind of breaking up and getting emotional, because I literally could have lost my life on that road, Mazeppa Road, and it happened right there by Best Sweets. If any of you guys are familiar with the Mooresville area, but I was new to the area, I had just moved here, and that was literally my first time on that road. So with that said and done, discovering your ride. If you are not familiar with the road, if you're not familiar with the route, take your time. I may have been down it 1,000 times, so I can zoom through it. I remember that what that happened on Mazeppa Road. There was another road here in town called, I'm trying to remember, not Mazeppa, Shinville Road, Shinville Road. So I had my ZX at the time, and I had my little barbershop going downtown, and I would ride to work, and I would get out so late, it's already dark, and I'd usually take the long way home. So I'm on my way home. I stop at the gas station, and this dude pulls up, this white dude pulls up on a crotch rocket, and so we get to talking. He says, "Yeah, man, we're gonna do a little bit of riding." What I said, "All right, cool. I'm ready to open this thing up, man. And so he asked me the question. He said, "How good are you on curves?" I said, "I'm good. Yeah, I can handle myself. He said, "Okay, cool. I got to go get another." He said he had to go change his helmet, so he lived off of Shinville Road. So I said, "Okay, cool. So boom, we're riding and everything, and he's revving up, he's riding. I said, "Okay, this guy know how to ride," and I'm right there with him, right behind him, right. And boom, he makes the turn down Shinville Road, and this is another road that was kind of like Mazeppa. It was dark, no street lights, and it was already nighttime. So this guy, he hits the corner. He takes that right, folks, right? And I'm right behind him. And next thing you know, one curve, another curve, another curve. It's dark. I don't know this road. You know what I did, right? I said, "Nah, bro, see ya." I wasn't about to try to catch up to him because I didn't know that road. And you've got to ride your own ride, folks. And so again, if you're not familiar with the road, take your time. If the group leaves you, let them leave you. Because if they leave you, well, I ain't gonna, let me say it this way. I care enough about everyone in the group that I'm leading on that ride, because if I got an issue with you, I ain't inviting you. So if I'm on a ride and you're that I'm leading, that I put together, and you come, then I care about you. And because I care about you, I ain't gonna leave you. Now I might be like, "Man, you need to learn how to twist it." I might be saying that in my helmet, but I'm gonna hit that cruise and slow it down until you can catch up. I'm not gonna leave no one behind. We took a ride when we did one of our Genesis rides, right? And shout out to Expression, ladies and gentlemen. He's actually our secretary of Kingdom Alive Memorial Ministry. Excuse me, not our secretary, our treasurer. And cool little young girl. So my wife and I have been doing a lot of riding, and she's like, I wanna ride with y'all. She goes to our church. She's a member of our church. So we said, "Hey, yeah, hey, make it do what it do." Next thing you know, she had went and took the little course and got a little endorsement, and Pastor, can you help me find a motorcycle? And so we was looking out for her, and we found a nice little Yamaha a little Yamaha 600. And she went to look at it. She liked it. Okay, cool. So she got it. I never forget. I rode it home for her. I know it was during the winter months. I can't remember which month it was, but so I rode it home for her, and we did a few things on it to get it ready for her. And next thing you know, she's doing her thing and she's riding. And I was like, "Okay, we got to set some." I told my wife, I said, "We got to set some time out to take Expression out so she can get some practice." Next thing you know, I get a phone call. She said, "Pastor, I went out and I went around the block." I said, "Okay, well, go ahead with your bad self." Next thing you know, she went out to another subdivision. So what she would do was she would go further and further each time. Which is cool. That makes sense. Slow into it, right? Slow roll into it. What's my point? So my point is, we get ready for our Genesis ride, which we do January 1 every year, right? And so I'm prepping the group. We had a pretty good turnout, so I'm letting everybody know, what we're gonna. Matter of fact, my VP Lowrider was letting everybody know what the route was gonna be, because he chooses the route every year for the Genesis ride. And so after he got done doing the prep and everything, letting everybody know how it was gonna go, I then came up behind him with a few other instructions, and I said to everybody, I said, "Today we are all riding a Yamaha 600." And what I meant by that is, even though we can go much faster, even though we are more skilled than she is, we are all going to ride her level today, because we're not leaving anybody behind. We all got there. We all got to the meetup spot safe, and we're going to all get to the restaurant safe. You know what I'm saying? So I don't believe in leaving anybody behind. Listen to this. I got to get out of here. let's see here. You guys are still here, so I'm gonna talk for a little bit longer. Um, Now, let's say you are part of Kingdom Alignment Motorcycle Ministry, and we are riding, and somebody, and somebody's, they're lagging behind or whatever. We don't beat up on that person. We don't laugh at their lack of skill set, but we find out what we have to do to empower them, to equip them, and to help them become a better rider. And you cannot help someone become a better rider by tearing them down. I know they almost fell 7 times in less than, a quarter mile. So what you need to do is say, before we go on another ride, we're going to get over here to this big old parking lot, and we're gonna do some exercises. My wife would tell you, she started out in the parking lot. She did really well too, and she would ride in circles in that parking lot. I tried to find her a different parking lot to kind of switch it up, and I'm not laughing at her. So if y'all tell my wife I was laughing at her, I'm going to deny because I'm not laughing at her. Okay, but what happened was what happened was that part, right? C1's that part. What happened was, well, what just happened? Where'd that go? Okay, so what happened was I tried to find her a different parking lot. I wanted to, kind of shake it up a little bit, give her a little different experience and stuff. And so we get to this parking lot, which was a little bit, well, I guess it was closer to the house, but that's not the point. The point is it was a different parking lot. But I guess this part is kind of my fault. There was a slight incline and in the parking lot. It wasn't really a flat parking lot. It did kind of have it was kind of on a incline to it. Not a major one, but it did have a slight incline. And so she gets, we rode her bike over there. I rode her on the back of her bike there, and we get there. I get off. I say, "Okay, babe, you ready to do your thing?" She said, "Yeah, I'm ready." So she gets on it, and she starts going up the down the parking lot, and well, I should say up. And then she just stopped. I to this day I don't know why, but she just stopped. She didn't put her feet down or nothing. She just stopped, and then gravity said, "Hey, I'm right here." And yeah, gravity started working, and she went down, and she didn't get hurt. Her ego might have got a little hurt, and I was like, babe, you just stopped. You didn't put your foot down or nothing, And she it broke the little lever and everything, and so that was a crazy day, man. But she got back up, and I told her, I said that's it. I'm done. I'm done. Come on, let's go. I said, you're not getting back on this bike until you're ready to get on this bike. I said, I'm done. Oh boy, we laughed about it later, but again, to what Tiffany was saying earlier, hey, it happens to us all. We all fall down at some point. Sometimes it's the fall down that teaches us the greatest lesson. So safety first, and first safety, ladies and gentlemen. You've got to find your ride. Okay, you got to find your ride. Don't let. Hey, we got Shaquise. I see Shaquise has logged in. Benny, what's going on, brother? Haven't seen you in a while. Thank you for pressing play. Felipe Perez, God bless you, sir. Let's see here. So again, Jeremy Monk, man, see, I'm missing you guys. I do apologize because I can't see any of your comments on this platform that I'm using, which is Ecamm Live. Any of you YouTubers out there, or folks that are doing social media lives and all that stuff, if you haven't checked out Ecamm, you might want to consider it. I think it's a good platform, and it can really, when it works really well. So we're gonna. She says, sounds like my husband. I'm telling you, man, I can feel his pain. I take it he's been riding a whole lot longer than you, and so. But anyway, shout out to Mr. What's his name, Tiffany? What's your husband's name? Cool dude, man. Cool as can be. But shout out to him. It got to a point where I'll just say it this way. For me and my wife, I think one of the best tools was for me recording her, which she didn't like. She didn't really, like me recording her when she was riding, but she was able to go back and look at the video and see exactly what I was trying to get her to understand. So that helped us. For you husband and wife teams, and you're teaching your wife how to ride, what are some of the tips you could offer, or anybody for that matter who has taught somebody else how to ride? What are some of the tips that you can offer? Because sometimes if you're not careful, it can be. Oh, Daniel, that's what I thought. I thought it was Daniel. I just wasn't sure. So shout out to Daniel. Ladies and gentlemen, let's make some noise for Daniel. on. Here we go. My nephew's name is Daniel. Cool kid. Um, I lost my train of thought. But anyway, yeah, what are some of the things that you tips you can share for those who? Oh, that's what I was getting ready to say. Um, Sometimes it can become frustrating, and you have to be careful. I had to be careful, and I had to check myself several times because I didn't want to, I didn't want my frustration to frustrate her. You know what I'm saying? Because that can kill her drive, her fight to ride this thing. And so there were many a times where I just had to take a woosah moment and just she'll get it, she'll get it. And the last thing I want to do is rush her. You don't want to rush anybody who's learning. Just let them get it on their time. See, you've been riding for up 10 years, so for you it's like second nature, but for them it's all foreign, it's all brand new. You know what I'm saying? So you want to be very, very careful. And then on top of that, I do believe that there is a level of the person who's learning not wanting to disappoint the one who's trying to teach them. Right, wrong, or indifferent. I think there's a level of that there. So then there's that added pressure on the fact that they're learning something that's completely foreign to them in some regard. So those of us who are out here trying to teach our spouses and our whoever else how to ride, just kind of keep that in mind. And then what we also did was we allowed, I had my wife get with Tiffany, who is one of our members of Kingdom Alignment. She goes by Miracle. And so her and Miracle got together on one session, and they kind of, she kind of pointed out to her some things. And it's amazing because sometimes you can say it, and then as soon as somebody else says it, then it makes sense. But for me, as long as you get it, that's what counts. But the lesson we want to drive home today is take your time, discover your own ride. You might be the individual that needs to get out on the interstate and just open up. I told my wife we got her on the interstate for the first time. I think the last time we went out riding. Let's see here. Yes, Daniel. I couldn't remember. Also, a nice convo with him at the Men's Health. Exactly. That's right. C1s. That's where I met them for the first time. Was at the Men's Health ride up there in Fayetteville, and so they are doing their thing, man. You can't deny it. So you just got to, celebrate it. It is what it is, man. And so when people are doing their thing, man, look at don't hate, appreciate. Don't get in the way. Make way. Just let it do what it do, man. They represent North Carolina. You know what I mean? So that whole part right there. Um, but okay, so you get out on the interstate, you open up. That might be your ride. Oh, that's what I was saying. So my wife, we got her out on the interstate, and she was horrified at first. I'm not talking about getting on the interstate, but just the thought of getting on the interstate. She was just like, I had her out one day, and I act like I was getting ready to get on the interstate. You should have saw her, man. It was funny. And but when we actually hit the interstate, now we talked about. I didn't just put her on the interstate. We talked about it, and so she was ready to give it a shot. And so boom, we hit the interstate. And I didn't take her for a long ride on the interstate. I believe we just rode like a mile on the interstate, got off on the next exit. Um, and But she did good. She did good, and she said she wasn't as scared on the interstate as she thought that she would be. But as I was telling her, and I'll tell people, the interstate is sometimes safer and easier to ride and navigate than throughout the city, because you never know who's going to pull out of a parking space. You never know who's going to pull out of a side street. You got so many extra variables that can play in versus on the interstate. Even though you're going at faster speeds, sometimes it could be safer because you have less interaction, if you will, with other vehicles. You can just get in your lane and stay in your lane if you have to. But whatever your ride is, find it and ride it. And once you find it and ride it, you become confident and comfortable in riding your ride. It then makes it easier for you to, expand your ride. Case in point, let's just say you're very comfortable on back roads. Okay. So on those back roads, you become acquainted with your motorcycle. You learn how it leans. You learn how it throttles out of a curve. You learn how to brake going into a curve. See, some of y'all think you don't, use your brakes going into a curve, but that's a misconception. You know, sometimes you need your brakes going into a curve. It helps get that bike where it needs to be so you can ride through that curve. But anyway, you get acquainted with your motorcycle, you get comfortable on your motorcycle, your confidence level goes up, and you need confidence to conquer things. You need confidence to succeed in things. Don't let nobody trick you on that, you know. And so you take the part where you're comfortable and you use it to your benefit, and then you can take on other parts of the ride. So again, you go from back roads, you're very confident, you're comfortable on your motorcycle. Now when you're on the interstate, you're not worrying about getting acquainted with your motorcycle. All you're worrying about is the traffic around you, which will soon vanish into the background, because you're gonna find your ride, you know, and you're just gonna be easing right along. Like Lionel Richie would say, easy like Sunday morning. It's your boy Retro with you on today, man. I appreciate you for stopping through and hanging out with me for a little bit, man. We're going to get out your way. We've been up here long enough. NC Four Corners is going down this coming weekend, Friday. Kickstands up at 5:30 a.m. If you want to make this ride with us, you are welcome to reach out to me. If you want to do it on your own time, you're welcome to do it on your own time with your crew. Just reach out to me, and we will give you the specifics so that you can get that patch. And again, if you are in the North Carolina area, this is a ride that you and your club must take. You and your social club must take. You and your motorcycle ministry must take. You got to do it. Represent NC, the Four Corners of North Carolina. Presented to you by Kingdom Alignment Motorcycle Ministry, collecting miles and smiles. And please know we're praying for you. All right, we're praying for you for real, for real. All right, I'm gonna get out y'all's way, man. Go ahead and share this with someone if they're interested in the NC Four Corners. Share this with them. Share the YouTube page with them. And we'll make it do what it do. So yeah, that part right there. All right, I'm gonna get out y'all's way, man. God bless you. And
Tell them already we're good, tell them again. Tell them again. Tell them already we're good, tell them again. Tell them again. Conquerors. We're more than conquerors. Wow, wow. Tell them already we are good, tell them again. Tell them already we are good, tell them again. We are conquerors. Wow, wow. More than conquerors. Wow, wow. Retro. Tell them already we are good, tell them again. Tell them we are good, tell them again. We are conquerors. Wow, wow. More than conquerors. Tell them already we are good, tell them again. Tell them already we are good, tell them again. We are conquerors. More than conquerors. Kingdom Alignment on assignment for the king. Hope you're ready for the show. Thanks for tuning in. Let's go for a ride. Got my specs on my side. She's my forever bride that keeps up alive. I'ma rev it up, so hold on tight. We bout to level up. Catch us on the turnpike from city to city, state to state, coast to coast. We are conquerors, yeah. More than conquerors. Hashtag press play. It's the Retro Philosophy Show. You know, let's go.
Areas, but again, we're going to ride safe. We're not trying to break any speed limits. So again, we're going to go through Spencer Mountain, over to Stanley, Alexis, Lincoln, and back over to Highway 73 in Denver, where we eat lunch at the Midtown Sundays.
yeah.
So again, we're going to ride safe. We ain't breaking no speed limits today.
So, Black Ops, where you at? Black Ops, he's gonna be bringing up the rear. Once we get off 85, I'll do one of these numbers. That's when we're bringing in single file. Of course, on 85, we're gonna ride staggered. Let's try to keep us close together as possible with, you know, still being safe so the cars are not getting between us. And that's it, man. That's it. So this is our chaplain. She's gonna go ahead and lead us in a quick word of prayer. Specs, my wife as well. So I flirt with our chaplain.
You can get by with that.
I can get by with that. One's conversation is an indicator of their level of maturity. Okay? But the proof is in the fruit that we bear. In other words, you and I could sit here and we can have a very intelligent conversation. Okay? And it could be spot on. And you say, wow, that was pretty deep. You know, Pastor, he's so mature in the things of God. But then I leave here and I talked about. So I think we could throw the text out there having a form of godliness but denying the power thereof. So let's bring it on home a little closer. If you're going to talk about it, then you ought to be about it.
Y'all make sure y'all check out the Retro Philosophy Show on YouTube with my man Retro. Like, subscribe, comment, share, copy the link, put it on Instagram in your bio, put it on your Facebook page. Send it to your mama, text it to somebody. But y'all make sure y'all follow this page, Retro Philosophy.
It's the